guys?
Yes, sir.
These are some of the ways, some of the methods you can say by which you can control the hazard or substitute the hazard. After substitution, these are mandatory. You have to apply engineering controls or reorganization of the work or both. What are these? Isolating people from the hazard with the help of barriers, for example, designated areas, for example, to keep the hazardous material, yeah, or to control the movement of people. Isolation, machine guarding, ventilation systems, these are all engineering controls which are technical by nature, which requires an engineer to design, to plan. Okay, those are known as engineering controls or technical controls. It's the same thing. Clear? Airbag in a vehicle, technical control, brakes, steering wheel, gear system. It's all technical controls to manage your driving, to control your speed and everything, direction and everything. Addressing mechanical handling using cranes, for example, conveyors, for example. Okay. Reduce noise by applying silencers, for example, acoustic enclosures, protecting against fall from height by using guardrails. This is also engineering control. Then reorganizing the work to avoid people working alone or unhealthy working hours or workload, or to prevent victimization, means lone working, you can say. Got the idea?
Yes.
Yeah. Then comes admin control. These are mandatory. You have to apply them. Huh? No argument on this. You can only have discussions on which one to apply, but you have to apply. Okay. So conducting periodic safety equipment inspections is admin control. Conducting training to prevent bullying and harassment, safe behavior based safety training. Managing health and safety coordination with subcontractors activities. Conducting induction training, administrating forklift driving licenses, providing instructions, signages, changing the work pattern, managing health and safety, like surveillance, medical health surveillance of the employees. All right. Awareness programs in the organization, do's and don'ts, sharing instructions with the people. These are all some of the admin control. Clear, everyone? After
Yes,
these
sir.
comes the PPE, personal protective equipment. Mandatory by law, you have to provide necessary PPE for the particular task. Variety of PPE is available to protect your body, yourself from top to bottom, means from head to toe. To protect everything, there is suitable PPE available. You need to identify and provide free of cost. Common PPE is safety shoe, coverall, helmet, and hand gloves. Other than that comes goggles, which are specific to certain activity like painting goggles, welding goggles. Yeah, even hand gloves are also specific to the activity. So you have to see which one is suitable. Don't just provide anything. PPE must be suitable. In applying the hierarchy of control, consideration should be given to the cost, risk reduction benefits, and reliability of the available options. This is what is reasonably practicable. Okay, got it, guys? Before we come here, I think I should better clarify you. See, as per law, you are required to assess reasonably foreseeable risks and reduce them so far as is reasonably practicable. Got the point? This is the legal requirement. Clear? The legal requirement is to assess all the reasonably foreseeable risks and to reduce them so far as is reasonably practicable. What is the meaning of it now? See, by law, you are required to assess reasonably foreseeable risks, which means risks which can be identified by using your experience, common sense, we say, or you can identify through industry guidances or through hiring consultants. Clear? So, which means every possible risk which a person can imagine, you should identify that. Okay. Then comes reasonably practicable control measures. This means whatever mentioned in the law is the basic minimum you have to provide. Other than that, whatever depending on the risk profile of the organization and the economical or financial conditions, you have to provide. The priority is risk profile. If risk profile is high, you have to provide high control measures. If risk profile is low, lower control measures can also work out. Then comes the quality of control measures, whether it is PP or engineering control or anything. That depends on your financial conditions, you can say. So some compromises can be done, but make sure whatever you are doing is reasonably practicable. And this is a legal term. These are used in courts after any incident or accident. Got some idea, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So this is what it is. Okay. This is what is reasonably practicable thing. Now comes priorities and time scale. Whenever we apply control measures, obviously you have to give a time scale. Otherwise, organization will end up saying yes, 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 we will do, but nothing can be done. So time scales are necessary. You have to provide time scales and priorities. Which one to be given more priority? So obviously, high risk actions must be given high priority, where the risk level is high. If the risk is low, you can give low priority. But when we talk about time scale, low cost, easy actions can be done immediately. So you can give them like low priority, but within 1 day because it's easy to do, like providing PPE, which is already available in store. Yeah. Medium priority may also need rapid action sometimes because it is possible to do it. Like cleaning the floor surface, immediately do it. Or again providing PPE, even if you have to buy it, it's very easy to buy PPE. Just do it immediately. But yes, arranging a training session is not easy control measure because you have to plan, a training center, for example, which one to prefer, the training course content, which one to be used, any equipments, place, area required to deliver the training, exam paper need to be finalized if you require assessment. So trainings require time, maybe 1 month, maybe 10, 15 days, depending on the subject of the training and availability of your individual. Training is something which is a costly control measure, you can say. Time taking, costly efforts, and efforts also are required. Got the idea now? Try to
Yes, sir.
understand the word reasonably practicable again with one example. See, by law, any work activity at heights above 2 meters, because they are results of death and severe injuries at 2 meters and above height. So any activity above 2 meters of height must be protected by suitable control measures. For example, scaffolding structure. This is example. Okay, they are not forcing you to design scaffolding; they are suggesting you to use scaffolding or other permanent or solid platforms. Clear? Now, suppose the activity is replacing a bulb or a fan which is at 10-meter height, like road lights, for example, or in your house, in many old buildings which are very heighted. The employee have to climb more than 2 meter height to replace a fan or tube light or something. Are you going to erect an scaffolding structure for this activity? Tell me, yes or no?
No, sir.
No.
No. Why not? Why no?
It's not reasonable practical.
Yes, because it requires lot of time, maybe cost as well. And if you do not have any scaffold, then you have to raise a contract. So efforts will also be too high. And the activity is hardly of 5 to 10 minutes. And it's a moving kind of activity. Today you are here, tomorrow you have to replace the bulb from some other location. So in this case, it is not reasonably practicable to use a scaffolding structure. Clear? So what is practicable? Use a step ladder of suitable height, competent employee, and supervision. Got the point? By this way also you can control the risk, na?
Yes.
So this is what is the difference between what is reasonably practicable all about. But yes, if something happens, suppose you are using a step ladder, the employee climbs on height, try to replace a bulb, and he fall down, and he suffered severe injuries or maybe death. you will be going to the court. There you have to justify that this control measure is reasonably practicable in your situation, considering the work activity. If you justify it successfully, you can escape. If not, you have to suffer the punishment. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So whatever is mentioned in the law is a basic minimum. You have to provide no argument. Whatever is not mentioned in the law, there you can use your cost benefit analysis. You can compare the benefits of control measure with the cost, time, and effort required to apply control measures. If the benefits are more, apply them. If the cost, time, and effort is more, reduce some of the control measures. It's fine. Okay. Anyway, 70% of the workplace hazards can be controlled by good management. Other control measures only support 30%. Getting my point? Study says that. Research says that. Applying control measure does not make a workplace 100% safe. Only 30% safe. 70% still it depends on how you work. Okay, your working style. Is it clear? Concentration, for example, supervision, for example, it depends on these factors. Trainings, competent employees, okay, sufficient time. So proper organizing of the work is what matters more than applying just control measures. For example, in other words, you provide one of the safest